Hello everyone, this is Pristine Felicity. Let's start the chapter, the last lesson. Hope you will enjoy.
Again late. I will now have to rush. So these chirping birds and that open wood is more tempting. Also,
Animaker.
Master Hamill said that he would question us about the principles today. I am so not prepared for it.
For the last 2 years all our bad news has come from this bulletin board, the lost battles,
Animaker.
the draft, the orders of the commanding officer.
Don't go so fast, bub. You'll get to your school in plenty of time.
Today the school is as quiet as Sunday morning. Everyone is already seated and Master Hamill is ready.
Go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you.
The thing that surprised me most was to see, on the back benches that were always empty, the village people sitting quietly like ourselves, old Hauser, with his three-cornered hat, the former mayor, the former postmaster, and several others besides. Everybody looked sad, and Hauser had brought an old primer, thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees with his great spectacles lying across the pages.
My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. The new master comes tomorrow. This is your last French lesson. I want you to be very attentive.
What a thunderclap these words were to me. Oh, the wretches, that was what they had put up at the town hall. My last French lesson. Why, I hardly knew how to write. I should never learn any more. I must stop there, then. Oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons, for seeking birds' eggs, or going sliding on the Saar. My books, that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry, my grammar, and my history of the saints, were old friends now that I couldn't give up. And M. Hamill, too, the idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. It was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes, and now I understood why the old men of the village were sitting there in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry, too, that they had not gone to school more. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service and of showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more.
Franz, it's your turn to recite now.
Participles, well, the participles are.
I won't scold you, little Franz. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, bah, I've plenty of time, I'll learn it tomorrow. And now you see where we've come out. That's the great trouble with Alsace, she puts off learning till tomorrow. Now those fellows out there will have the right to say to you, how is it, you pretend to be Frenchmen, and yet you can neither speak nor write your own language? But you are not the worst, poor little Franz. We've all a great deal to reproach ourselves. Your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. They preferred to put you to work on a farm or at the mills, so as to have a little more money. And I've been to blame also. Have I not often sent you to water my flowers instead of learning your lessons? And when I wanted to go fishing, did I not just give you a holiday?
And, from one thing to another, Master Hamill went on to talk of the French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest, the most logical, that we must guard it among us and never forget it, because when a people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language it is as if they had the key to their prison. And he opened a grammar and read us our lesson. I was amazed to see how well I understood it. All he said seemed so easy, so easy. I think, too, that I had never listened so carefully, and that he had never explained everything with so much patience. It seemed almost as if the poor man wanted to give us all he knew before going away, and to put it all into our heads at one stroke. After the grammar, we had a lesson in writing. That day M. Hamill had new copies for us, written in a beautiful round hand, France, Alsace, France, Alsace. They looked like little flags floating everywhere in the schoolroom, hung from the rod at the top of our desks. You ought to have seen how everyone set to work, and how quiet it was. The only sound was the scratching of the pens over the paper. On the roof the pigeons cooed very low, and I thought to myself, will they make him sing in German, even the pigeons? Master Hamill was sitting motionless in his chair and gazing first at one thing, then at another, as if he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything looked in that little schoolroom. For 40 years he had been there in the same place, with his garden outside the window and his class in front of him, just like that. Only the desks and benches had been worn smooth, the walnut trees in the garden were taller, and the hopvine that he had planted himself twined about the windows to the roof. How it must have broken his heart to leave it all, poor man, to hear his sister moving about in the room above, packing their trunks. For they must leave the country next day. After the writing, we had a lesson in history, and then the babies chanted their bar, be by, bo, be you. Down there at the back of the room old Hauser had put on his spectacles and, holding his primer in both hands, spelled the letters with them. How well I remember it, that last lesson. All at once the church clock struck 12. Hamel stood up, very pale, in his chair. I never saw him look so tall.
My friends,
He stopped and leaned his head against the wall, and, without a word, he made a gesture to us with his hand.
Animaker.
School is dismissed, you may go.
Thank you guys for staying till the end. I am certain that this video will help you in boosting your score to some level at least. Do like, share and comment down about how's your exam prep going on. Also, do subscribe this channel to get more such contents. Love you all.